Welcome back to the table. Today, I have an upcoming new board game called Pampero, which is coming soon from Ape Games. Now, this is from Julian Pombo, and if that name means anything to you, it's probably because you're a big fan of Vital Lacerda, and you'll recognize his name as a co-designer on some of Vital's more recent games. Now, Julian has kind of learned with Vital and has kind of taken a lot of that style of game and brought it to this game, Pampero. So while this is not a Lacerda game, it does definitely have that kind of feel. And because of that, it is just quite a big game. This is definitely a heavy game with a lot going on. So I'm going to do my best today to just break down the different sections of this game so you can get a pretty good idea of what's going on and whether or not the complexity of this game is for you. Because it is kind of a brain burner. There is a lot you have to balance in this game in order to build up the windmills that you're doing here, the wind farms, and bringing electricity to Uruguay. This is actually based on a real-life event. The country tried to build a ton of wind farms to go completely carbon neutral and be able to get all their power from the wind farms. And so that is what you're doing in this game. You're going to be placing wind farms and electrical towers out onto a map in order to increase your amount of energy production. So you're going to see the board here is already set up, and you have the country here divided into these different zones. The A zone, the B zone, the C zone. That's going to matter because the entire game is based around playing these cards. And when you play these cards, based on which slot you play them into on your player board, it's going to tell you which zone you can take that action. So sometimes you can only take actions in B, sometimes A, sometimes C, based on the card you're playing or where you're playing it to. And a lot of these actions are going to let you do some of the same basic things on the board that you're trying to do, which is one, to build these structures, to either build the wind turbines or to build those energy electric towers. And you're going to do that by placing these bulldozers on the map and moving these bulldozers around to places that you want to build. You're going to be replacing those bulldozers with these potential windmills or these potential electrical towers. Now, both of these buildings do two different things for you. The wind farms generate energy, and energy is going to be very important for your giant player aid here. You're going to be tracking energy down along the bottom here, and you'll notice how each one of these columns kind of corresponds to the entire player board here. So that's going to let you potentially store some of your excess energy at the end of the turn in the form of batteries. So getting a lot of energy is really important. You're going to use that energy. You're going to spend it over the course of the game. Some actions are going to require you to spend energy alongside them, and completing these contracts, fulfilling these contracts by delivering energy to different parts of the country is going to cause you to spend that energy as well. However, again, on your player board, you're going to see a bunch of income trackers. There are 5 different types of income trackers, and these can move up as you complete contracts, and they're going to be giving you money every income phase. So you'll see out here on the board all of these different little squares. These are all the different possible contracts that you can fulfill over the course of the game. Whenever you fulfill one, you're going to take it, and you're going to gain income in a very specific sector, and you're going to move your income token up by 1. But not only that, you're going to place that contract marker onto your board and place one of your transformers out to mark that you completed that. So you're able to place these contracts out to eventually unlock bonuses. A lot of these transformer spots have bonuses. So getting energy in this game is very important. That's kind of the whole cycle of the game. Place some wind farms down, get some energy, spend that energy to fulfill those different kinds of contracts. Of course, you're going to want to place these electrical towers though as well, because again, you're going to see on your player board that each of these electrical towers is built into a section of the board. Your income cannot progress until you get these electrical tokens out on the board. Once you do, once those markers are out, you can begin progressing your income tokens further along, and you're going to start earning more batteries at the end of your turn. And of course, you're going to need these batteries, again, to pay the costs of different cards and different contracts. In addition to these contracts that are sitting out here on the board, you can also trade with the neighboring countries. They want your energy. They want energy in the form of batteries that you can transfer to them in order to get income. So there is a lot going on. You're already kind of seeing that just the way that these different types of buildings all interact with each other on the board. Now, what's really neat about this is, like I said, you're moving your bulldozers around the board to build these things. When you're building into a zone, it doesn't have to be your bulldozer. you can build where anybody's bulldozer is. However, any fees that you pay, any costs associated with that building, go to that player instead. So that's a way that you're actually going to keep money circulating across the board. Every time they do, they get to move one of their bulldozers around. And of course, you can get new bulldozers over the course of the game. There's some rewards and bonuses that are going to allow you to get new bulldozers to place out. There's a little track up here where you can place your bulldozers to kind of lock them in to get permanent benefits. But this balance is very, very important for how you're going to be playing your cards, because you have to decide, like I said, between the wind farms and the electrical towers. Gaining energy are all the benefits that come with building electrical towers. If you see here, over here to the left of your player board, you have your card mat. This is going to be where you place cards on your turn in order to trigger these different actions. You're going to see also all of these different areas for bonus tiles. Over here, there's a board just full of bonus tiles. You're going to be able to take bonus tiles every time you build one of these electrical towers. You get to take 2 of these bonus tiles and bring them over onto your player board in order to trigger their benefits. Some of these are ongoing effects that are going to trigger every single time you play the card. So again, you're balancing that as well, trying to get the right powers. And again, these powers are going to get better based on where you build. It's more expensive to build into C, so you're going to have some of the better abilities in C, including in-game scoring opportunities, which of course everybody's going to love. So all of this, everything I'm talking about here, is being managed by these cards. A round is going to be 3 card placements. So you're going to get to choose to place a card either in your top row or your bottom row. Whenever you do that, whenever you play a card to one of these rows, you have to play it to the leftmost possible slot. So even if I want to place something in the B zone, I have to make sure that I've done an A and an A, and then I open up this ability to do a B. Or I could come down here to the bottom and just immediately do a B. But you'll notice there's costs associated with taking actions in those different zones. Plus, there's costs associated with the different cards. Now, all of these cards are going to give you multiple different actions. They're going to let you move your bulldozer, they're going to let you build, they're going to let you complete contracts. They're all kind of the same basic cards that everyone is going to start with, but you're going to have the option to supplement these with some better specialist cards that are sitting over here on this row. As you play the game, you're going to have some opportunities to earn these cards. One of the ways is as you progress your income. Every time you hit one of these shaded columns in your income track, you're going to get to take one of these specialist cards and immediately add it to your hand. So now you have a new ability card that you can play on your turn, and you're going to be, again, playing these cards as the game goes on. Now, if you ever do not want to play a card, maybe the card that you really want to play is buried, or maybe you're just too full and you're in a part where it's very expensive, or you're in zones that you don't want to be in, you can use one of your turns to kind of rest and pull back all of your cards. So this does take one of your 3 actions in the round, but you get everything back and you can kind of reset for your next turn. These actions are marked by these 3 tokens, and once every player is done taking their 3 actions, you're going to move on to kind of a reset phase where you're going to get a little bit of reset and you're going to get your income and things like that. But this pass mechanic also controls the pacing of the game. If you look over here, you're going to see the scoring track, which is also the time track of the game. As you pass, when you take that action that scoops you back up, you're going to move your time disc 1 space forward. Again, when you get to that income phase after 3 actions, everyone is going to move their timepieces 1 space forward. Whenever you get to one of these scoring markers, as soon as everybody has reached it, you're going to score. You're going to score again at the second one, and then at the end of the game, you're going to do all of the in-game scoring. So there is a lot of player control here. If players are refreshing a lot and pulling their cards back a lot, they're going to be moving up that score track more often. They're going to be getting to the end of the game a little quicker. But like I said, you're going to have 3 different scoring phases in the game. You're going to have one that scores here for your A's. You're going to have one that scores here for your A, B's, and C's. And then you're going to have 2 random in-game tiles. Now, there are a ton of these tiles, and you'll see a bunch sitting out over there outside of the board as well. So you're going to be using 4 different random tiles. You're going to have an A tile, a B tile, and then an A and a B tile again. So you're going to have a lot of variety in what you're trying to do over the game, because each of these is going to score something different for that particular game. And then again at the end, you're going to score as well. a lot of these scoring conditions want you to have the most of something, the most of a certain type of contract, the most of a certain kind of icon, the most of a certain type of energy, whatever. You're going to want to look ahead and see exactly what you need before you get to those different scoring zones, because it is kind of a competition to see who has the most. And if you're looking ahead and you're not worried about maybe the intermittent scorings, but you're focusing on making sure that you have the final scoring, you can still get a lot of points that way. All of these scoring cards give you money. Other aspects of the game give you money, like completing contracts, getting income. You can get money in a lot of different ways, and at the end of the game, money is worth victory points. So you're going to add up at the end of the game what you've gotten from these victory point contracts here. You're going to look at any of these point cards, these point card specialists that you might have taken during the game. You're going to look at all of these in-game tiles that you might have gotten from building energy towers. And then you're going to look at how many loans you've taken. And yes, there are loans. You're going to take these loans over the course of the game because the money can be very, very tight. It can be difficult to get out of a hole. So eventually you're going to have to play the card that takes a loan. You'll get some money immediately for playing that loan, but you are going to have to play that loan back at the end of the game. Now, there's still a lot more things going on. There's a lot going on with how you're going to be getting energy, how you're going to be getting batteries, how you're going to be triggering a bunch of different bonuses here on your player board. You're going to be collecting these bonus tokens. Some cards are going to have slots that let you play the bonus token on top of that card to make that card better. You're going to be collecting those over the course of the game. You're going to be completing these solar contracts over here, these different country contracts. There is just a lot going on, but kind of like in that same vein of Lacerda, your actual turn is, like I said, very simple. All you're doing is playing one card and then seeing all of the different cascading things that are happening because of that. Putting the contracts on your board, gaining your income, moving these trackers, getting the bonus cards. All of that stuff is going to come out of the simple act of playing one of those cards. So if you like that style of gameplay where your turn feels very simple, but yet your decisions are so meaty and so heavy, you're probably really going to enjoy Pampero. So this game is coming out to crowdfunding soon, so definitely take a look for this game. Please ask me any questions or comments below. I'm really excited to talk more about this game. This is right in my style, and I do want to say that I had a chance to play this game several times, and it does have just a lot of that meatiness in those tough decisions. So definitely want to pay attention to this one. And again, art by Ian O'Toole, who has done another phenomenal job here on this game. So please like, follow, subscribe to us here at MVM. Join our Discord community so we can continue having conversations about this game and others. And until we see you again, keep having fun at the table.
Congratulations, you got to the end of one of our videos. Now, if you want more practice, just click on the video over here. It's another video. You might not have seen it yet, so click on it. If you don't want to do that, at least click on the subscription button below. That always helps us. And if you want notifications, please ring that bell.